There's so much proof in here, you're drowning in it. It's intoxicating. It is a fucking cult of winning. But in the beginning, you can't appreciate that because what are you doing? You're having that same complex that this gentleman highlights when he goes around asking other people, what do you think about this person here? What he's targeting is the ability for the human mind to look for the negative in any fucking thing. Toxic thinking in weak-minded individuals or ill-prepared people as traders, and everybody when they first start are all ill-prepared. But you don't know the level of toxicity in you until you start doing this. If you see somebody doing well and you feel like I got to start talking shit about this person. Well, you're a little Dick Benny then. But if you look at other people and they're doing well and you don't feel like there's an issue, there's a problem, and you're like, wow, that person's really doing well. And even though you can't do what they're doing, you can't even do anything close to that, you can appreciate what they're doing and think, wow, that might be motivational for me to do that. Even though I can't do it, I don't feel like it's defeating for me to feel that way. Why? Because you're new. You're new at it. And so many, especially the young men, so many of the young men that come in this industry that follow other influencers that make it about image. Everything's got to be the new car, the nice cars. I'm telling you, having had lots of shit like that, it doesn't make you a better trader. And frankly, nobody gives a fuck once you show it. Once you show it, that's it. You done shot your wad. It's done. What are you going to do? Be seen in it again with a different haircut? They've already seen, okay, so what? You got a car. Big deal. What have you been doing in your trades? Show me your live account trading. Show me over a chart while it's ticking real time when I'm watching it. Show me what the market's going to do. Tell me what it's going to do. And unfortunately, that's the stuff that never fucking happens. And that's where I live. That's my fast lane. I'm taking you in there doing that. But I also know as your mentor that you're going to have problems in the beginning. You're going to discover things about yourself that you are not going to like. And you're going to impulsively, because you're not disciplined, you're not going to have the impulse of a professional where it is, okay, I'm in a market environment right now that is not conducive for high probability. So I'm going to impulsively remove myself because my training tells me to do so. Not run away in fear or not roll the dice and see what happens, which is predominantly what everybody does. That's the demo disease, okay? Push the button and see what happens. Push the button and see what happens. In the beginning, you're going to be a train wreck when you discover what you have as character flaws. Nobody has ever started this industry, ever. Ever. Never happened. It's never, ever happened. It's never happened. Where somebody walked out here, got it all right from day one, and never had hardships or had to wrestle with internal conflicts with what they are as a trader, what they're not as a trader. They don't have a person out there in the industry that's like that. Everybody comes in here and we are all baptized in the fire. And that is going to be pain. It's going to be loss. It's going to be frustration. And guess what, folks? Listen, friends and neighbors, that is absolutely part of this. And that's why I never make any sugarcoating about it. I want you to know that's coming. Because that way you're prepared to, number one, identify it when it does. And then you have to do certain things to wrestle it and subdue it because it will undo you. I don't go out there and say, go out there and try to go for 10 handles a day. That's unrealistic. I tell you to look for one 5-handle move. That's what you're looking for. In hindsight, by doing that every single day, you're conditioning your eye to see it. It's the same thing that happens when you go out and buy a car. Oh, I got this car. It's such a pretty blue color. Nobody's ever got a car that's this color in my neighborhood. And all of a sudden, as soon as you buy it and you drive home, on your way home, you done seen 17 of the same fucking car. It's like everybody went out there that day and bought your fucking car. How did that happen? How the fuck did that just happen? It didn't just happen. What you just did was you opened up and activated your reticular activating system. So now your subconscious that was filtering all that stuff out before, because it didn't matter that that car was owned by other people. You went to the lot, you saw it. Oh, I got to have that car. It means something to you now. It resonates with you. It's something that is part of you. So it should come to no surprise when every time you walk around, you see your car because it means something. You have adopted that as something meaningful to you. Well, when I tell you to look at hindsight and back test and study old data looking for shit, and when I tell you to pause the video, look through price and tell me what you see. Well, not that I tell you to tell me what you see, but annotate what you see in your log, in your journal. When you do that, what you're doing is you're activating your reticular activating system. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're inviting your subconscious to draw on to something that is meaningful to you. What is that? I'm teaching you fair value gaps because it's the most visually identifiable thing in price action, apart from relative equal highs and relative equal lows. So in short, really, you could just trade with just that. They're the two most important, visually pleasing, easy to find. Jump on a chart real quick, any time frame. Your eye will go right to the relative equal highs, relative equal lows, and if there's a fair value gap in the middle of it, and you know there's likely to go up there, well, you can buy the fair value gap and ride it up to the relative equal highs. There's your model right there. It's done. I just gave it to you, and it costs you nothing. Probably some of you never even thought about it. You're like, now, oh man, I never thought about it like that. Yes, it's just like that. But when you don't go through old data and you just binge watch my videos and you're not pouring yourself in charts, spending time literally every single day looking through charts, studying how these other moves that you can't make money or lose money in, everybody else is going to tell you it's a waste of fucking time. They're the same people that will not be trading with live funds 6 months later. There's a lot of bad advice in this industry, a lot of bad actors, a lot of chapped asses, man. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's harder for some of you. I'm sorry. But it wasn't easy for me in the beginning. I've just been doing it a whole lot longer. I know what works. And I'm telling you, if you listen to the shit I'm telling you to do and avoid the things I'm telling you to avoid, you will save yourself a whole lot of time. And be accepting. Be flexible. Give yourself permission to take up to this year and maybe into next year to get it. For some of you, if you give yourself a broad timeline with no definitive, I got to know it by this time. You know, in a lot of ways, I regret having told you that my last live stream is going to be the second Friday of November because it kind of pushed the envelope on pressure. Like now you have to, by this date, I gave you a deadline. When I teach you, don't have a deadline. I didn't tell you that so that way you can be fearful of it. I've told you that so that way when I get to that point and I say I'm stopping, I can say, remember I told you, because that's just the way it is. I got to have an exit clause here. Okay. When I'm going to leave, why I'm leaving, and why it stopped. It wasn't because somebody ran me off the fucking internet. It wasn't because, I'm locked up. It wasn't because I'm, in the poorhouse. It's because Michael's going back to fucking doing what the Michael does. Okay. Which is be Michael. And I've spent a lot of time, if I do this every week, every day, I'm investing a lot of time in all of you. And it's your job to do all the work in between, which is a lot. It is. And I saw a guy saying, listen, man, I love what you do, but listen, you're doing these Twitter spaces and you only give like 30 minutes of applicable information. And we got to sift through all that stuff. Listen, kindly, sir, please, don't send me shit like that, because that's the kind of stuff I block. Because you're saying my time investing into you, telling you all these things, you can't be successful if you just know the concepts of getting in, where to put a stop loss, all that other stuff. Because if it was just that easy, I can do that in a book and you won't make money with it. I can do that in a video because I've already done it and you're not making money yet, because that's not all it is required. You have to understand the person that's in you that's going to absolutely fuck this up for you. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. We're not always going to be prepared for doing difficult things. And this is one of the most difficult things on this fucking planet. You're wrestling with yourself in an industry that's designed to take your ass the fuck out. You're not supposed to make money here, man. You're not. It was not created for everybody to walk in here and just know what's going on and make money. It was designed for, well, P.T. Barnum said it perfectly. The sucker. There's suckers born every day. And they come in here looking for animal patterns and bullshit Mickey Mouse things that tells them it's going to go up because moving averages are crossed over, and they lose their ass. And they get mad and they think, okay, I didn't do it right at that time. And they push and push and push. And they lose their ass again, not realizing that the market doesn't respect any of that bullshit. And if they have a strong opinion of you about how they won't ever submit to somebody else's stuff when the other stuff is absolutely what's going on, they become absolutely toxic to themselves and anybody else that listens or looks at them. And Vinnies have happened all the time. I've had Vinnies on America Online. Okay. I've had those kind of creepy bitches. Okay. they're weak people. Weak. And you're going to have them too. If you go out there on social media, you make yourself known, you're going to do something, and you're going to be consistent doing this. And you're going to rub all kinds of people wrong because they can't do it. And little dick complexes are going to materialize in men. Rarely will you ever see a woman come out there and start talking shit unless it was Talking Options lady. And she got real quiet when I said, let's go and let's start showing some daily. Let's look at the statements. Let's do it. Let's call it live. And all that. And she just dropped off the face of the earth. Men are the ones that do it because it's ego. It's pride. It's the caveman mentality. And when you're young, you all, the younger men, you all want to do that because you think that's what this is about. And what you're trying to turn trading into is image-based. Image-based. Worship me. Give me attention because you need to feel what? Like I have always wanted to feel. I wanted to have affirmations given to me from my grandfather. I can't get that. So I pursue things to try to give me that high that I'd never got from hearing it from my grandfather. I wanted that man's approval and I can't get it. So I do everything in life trying to constantly seek the affirmations that what I'm doing is above grade of everything. And anybody that spends time with me really rolls their sleeves up. That's the common denominator response is this is next level shit. And I know that. I know that. And when I see you succeed, and I see others that are among you in this community succeeding, it's thrilling to me. It's very satisfying. Like I love that you're finding yourself in this. I love it. And while you're doing it and you second guess yourself, it's like watching my children learn how to walk. And some of you are older than me, but it has that same effect. Like I am emotionally committed to you. I am 100% committed to you. I've given you my entire year. Every single day, I'm giving you myself. Motherfucker, you better keep driving. Fucking guy rolled up next to me. You better get your ass beat, motherfucker. So I'm pouring myself into, and see how it ruined that moment. We had a really nice moment there. That's where I would have been editing it out. I wouldn't be recording videos, obviously, in my vehicle. But I'm giving you something that no other mentor would. Number one, I'm doing it for free. And I love the fact that it's for free because nobody's going to be able to talk shit about it. Two, I already know I'm going to make monsters this year. Like I'm going to make ridiculous money-making motherfuckers. And I can't wait. I can't wait. But I don't want you to fuck it up. I don't want you, the person that doesn't know quite well how well you can fuck it up for yourself. So you have to listen to these conversations. It's meant for you to avoid the things that I and other people fucked up doing. You're going to fail doing things that you don't see coming. It's going to come out of left field. Oh man, I didn't realize I was going to do that. I was so dumb. Right. And I'm telling you, all those pitfalls, those snares that's going to snap over, and take you by surprise. You're not going to realize it until it's too late. Without knowing beforehand, which is why I'm talking to you in these lectures like this. When I give you the things to think about, going into it, be aware that this is what typically will happen. Some people feel these things, these flaws will manifest themselves. In men, it's usually all image-based, Olympic-sized feats. Big money only is the thing that works best. Big P&L. No, steady P&L, not wicked drawdown in max loss days. That's what you want to avoid that. But you get that if you're trying to always swing for grand slam home runs. And if you don't know how to fucking trade well and you don't know sniper precision, you can't reasonably expect to do grand slam home runs day in and day out and let the market just hand you windfall victories like that. It doesn't make sense. And to hear people teach that's a practical, or try to showcase that as this is why you should be mentored by me, that's stupidity. That's ass backwards. You need to go in respecting risk, identifying risk, not just mentioning it in passing, but let me demonstrate what you should be doing and then failing in doing it, or never showing it at all, like what the majority of these people out there try to promote the idea that they're consistently profitable, they're precision oriented, but they won't show you they know how to do that, which for me is very frustrating because it sounds like there's a whole lot of me out there, but I can't see it. And I love it. I don't care who you are. If you can do it well, I'd love to watch it. And I don't go on these other streamers and talk shit to them. I'm very supportive. And if you start live streaming, I can't wait. I would love to be in your audience too. I'm cheerleading you on too. I love this industry. I love when people have the courage to go out there and do it in front of other people. And if they can do it well, wow. I'm not a sports fan, you know what I mean? Like, I watched the Super Bowl, just the last one here. And I'm not sure if it's like that all the time, but the last Super Bowl, I heard there was like a whole lot of shit that people didn't like. And I thought it was kind of like, well, what I expected, boring and wasn't all that. But it was a good game between them. But I'm not a sports fan. But with trading, like, I'd watch anybody trade. To me, it's fascinating. It's like, it's not to me. It's not like golf. Golf makes no fucking sense. Why anybody would play that is beyond me. But people watch that shit, and they stand around and follow this guy walking around hitting this ball in this fucking hole. Which, to me, I'm sure it takes a great deal of skill, but I got better shit to do. I ain't gonna be doing that. I can see how people can appreciate watching football, having watched a full game for the first time in my life. In the past Super Bowl just happened. It was entertaining, going back and forth. I was like, wow, it's kind of like watching a chess game between really good players. Well, you just did this, well, I'll do that. You did that, well, I'll do this. It was good. Am I going to be a football fan now? Fuck no, I'm not watching that shit. But with trading, I could watch that with anybody. Because why? It means something to me. Just like when I tell you as a new student to go through old price data, look at those moves, study it. What do you see that pops off the chart to you with what I'm teaching you? You may not know how to see it live. You may not be able to call it live, engage it and trade. And that's what's happening right now for a lot of you. You're watching me teach on something. We've been going for a couple weeks, maybe a month or so if you consider the beginning of the year in January. And you're complaining in your tweets that, oh, I missed this setup. I was going to push the button and trade. First of all, you're wrecking yourself right there because you were told not to trade. You can't learn this trading. You have to learn this when there's no money, not even a demo. You're reading price. You're getting to the point where you're having that same experience where anytime you look at the chart, it's like seeing that car you just bought. Your eye goes right to it. You can't, it's not like you're looking around for your car that you just bought. Your eye just jumps to it. Why? Because you've conditioned yourself to look for it. You have identified that as a pattern. It's a point of interest that is meaningful to you because you keep looking at old moves. And because you've done that, you've conditioned yourself like a weight trainer. You keep working your arms with heavy weights and you're eating well, it's going to grow a larger muscle. Well, your attention to detail, and the details are what I'm teaching you. These elements, these PD arrays. It doesn't matter which one I love. It doesn't matter which one I'm using today, next week, going forward for the rest of the year. It only matters which one that you like. Which one makes the most sense to you? The first one that you can see easily in the chart, and it might not be the fair value gap. To me, it's the easiest one to see and spot, but it might not be for you. You might see a breaker. It just makes perfect sense to you. And guess what that means? You're going to trade breakers. It doesn't mean it's inferior or superior to any other one. There's so many times traders will ask me, what's your favorite setup? The one I'm getting in. I have lots of them. The one I know I'm going to fucking get the outcome I'm looking for right now. That's the one I like the most. The next trade I'm in. That's the one I love the most. I have lots of them. And I try not to build the case for this is my favorite setups, because as soon as I say that, the celebrity complex that comes over people when I'm just an average guy, dude. There's nothing, literally nothing celebrity about me. I just know this stuff. And when you ask me what my favorite is, I know why you're doing that. It's the same reason why I was wishing I could reach out to Larry Williams and say, which one of these trades would you like doing the most? I just asked it of Linda Rash on Twitter. I'm not even sure she even responded to me, to be honest with you. If she did, I didn't see it, but I gotta go check my tweets and see if she responded. I know some guy did. He replied, said, here's a video where she talked about this or that. I was kind of actually hoping that she would respond, but if she didn't, well, whatever. But I asked her specifically, I said, if you had to only trade one setup, and you could only trade one setup the rest of the fucking time you're on this planet, what would it be and why? Now, I'm not sure if I asked for what market, but that was a question I wanted to ask Larry Williams. Like, if you had to only pick one setup, that was your go-to, you couldn't do anything else. Me, if you were to ask me that right now, I can tell you what that is. And know that what I'm about to say, for some of you, ain't going to make any bit of fucking sense. You're like, oh, how does that? And you're going to see people tweeting. Can someone send me the video where ICT talks about it's going to happen? Don't think that this is the best thing for you. It's not. Not all of you, it isn't. But for me, if I had to only trade one setup and I had to wait for it, and it had to be there in the chart, or I did nothing, I would be trading the second stage distribution in my market maker sell model, or my second stage accumulation in my market maker buy model. And that literally is taught in the core concepts. Like it's there. I'm not going to say exactly that, but it's the second stage distribution of either reaccumulation for longs or redistributions for shorts. So I'm looking for a market that's really designed to go lower,